what's up and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be talking about my NECA Friday the 13th Ultimate Part 5 Dream Sequence Jason. Now this is a Jason that really only made like a couple of cameo appearances in the Friday the 13th film known as Friday the 13th Part 5 A New Beginning, which is the fifth film in the series, you know. Oh yeah, and this is my Friday the 13th film series right here, which I have, you know. Which had the first original 8 movies, you know. I know I have to get an updated one, you know, because it's like I had it so long, you know. But yeah, this Jason really was only making like I guess you could say like cameo appearances in this particular film. But it kind of would make sense that NECA would make a figure based on that particular Jason too, because they do have the official character that was in the film. That they had the imposter Jason, like Roy Burns. Now he was the Jason that was in the film, but he was like an imposter. It wasn't really Jason Voorhees, you know, because he was like seeking revenge for like the death of his son. So that's why he went around killing everybody, all like the camp counselors and all that kind of stuff, you know. And he was impersonating Jason as he was doing this, you know. But at the same time, you did have the character of Tommy Jarvis in the film, you know, and he's having like these dreams and like he's seeing these like images of Jason, you know, and you would think that Jason has returned from the grave, but he has, you know. So yeah, this is basically like the Jason that was like in like Tommy like goes like dream sequences or whenever he's just seeing them and stuff, you know. This was that particular Jason, you know. So as you can see, there's like the box art for this particular figure. Now I wasn't too excited or too thrilled about this getting this one. You know, I do want the Roy Burns figure, which is coming up pretty soon. I am definitely gonna get that one. So I wasn't too really thrilled about this one, you know. But I just knew I was gonna pick it up anyway, you know. As you can see, this is the box art. Now, I don't really remember this being the actual poster for this, you know. I think it was kind of the theaters. I remember when it was like on video, which had that hockey mask on it, which I'll touch on, you know. And this also has an image of Tommy Jarvis right here, with the machete too as well. And it's like an image of the hockey mask. On the side, it has an image of the Jason too, the Dream Seekers Jason. Now that is the real Jason right there. Because this is like based on that particular version of Jason, which is actually from his dreams and stuff. But when he was like hallucinating. Now on the back, you also see like images of like the actual figure itself too, and the various things you can do. Now this right here is the mask I remember from like the video cassette release of this. That was the mask that was like on the poster, if I remember correctly, which NECA included with this figure. Now I think that is kind of a cooler touch, you know, because he didn't have that on in the movie, but it was like the mask that was actually on the poster for the video release of the film, you know. You also see like an image of Tom Raider, like from a dream sequence, and that was the part where he was actually played by Corey Feldman at the very beginning, because you know Corey Feldman played him on the final chapter anyway, you know, so he actually was playing that character again at the beginning of the film in this dream sequence, you know, where Jason returns out the grave. And of course it says Friday the 13th on Part 5, A New Beginning right down the front. Now on the back it reads, young Tommy Jarvis may have escaped from Crystal Lake, but he's still hunted by the gruesome events that happened there. When gory murders started happening in the secluded halfway house for troubled teens where he now lives, it seems like his nightmarish nemesis, Jason Voorhees, is back for more sadistic slaughters. Has Jason returned from the grave? And of course, spoiler alert, it wasn't really Jason, it was in this poster known as Roy Burns. Now, when you actually open this too as well, there's like the inside of it too, as you can see. How the figure actually looks and the accessories that he comes with. Even the image of Jason, like, you know, rising out the grave. Looks how I did like in the film too, you know. They even have like rain on the outside of this red too as well. That is kind of cool. And it also says includes 4 interchangeable heads, damaged left hand, machete, axe, ice pick, and a tombstone. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up and get into it, you know. These are the other NECA Jasons I have too as well, you know. I actually have them all except for I think the Nintendo one. Here's the Part 2 Ultimate Jason. Here's my Part 3 Ultimate Jason. Here's the final chapter Ultimate Jason. And here's the Part 6 Jason Lives, Jason figure I have. Here's the background for the figure, you know, which I'll probably use in like a photography pics, you know. It's kind of similar to the one they have for, I think, part 6, which has like the image of the coffin that Jason is in, you know, so I think that's kind of cool they kept that, and it's like rain all around it and stuff. Okay, as you can see, there's the NECA Friday the 13th Ultimate Part 5 Dream Sequence Jason figure, as you can see. So what I do is like touch on like the accessories and like the articulation of the figure and so on, you know. And of course Jason is about, yeah, he's like around like 7 inches. First accessory I'm going to talk about with Jason, Dream Sequence Jason, is this ice pick. And this was only like used like at the I think at the very beginning of the movie when he stuck it in the guy's throat, because it's been a while since I had washed it. As you can see it, there it is right there. Okay, as you can see, there's the figure with the ice pick in his hand. It went in pretty easy. You actually kind of pressed kind of hard to open the hands. I didn't have to use like the blow dryer on it, you know. It actually went into like Jason's hands like pretty good. Now, as you can see, here's like the tombstone, and it looks exactly like this in the movie too. I think that's cool. Like I said, it's Jason Voorhees on it, like it's like a wooded tombstone. And I like how NECA even put like the dirt on it. It looks like it was just like jammed in the ground, you know. I think that's kind of cool. They have like detailing it on the back too, like I guess like the nails and stuff. I like how you can see through like the cracks and stuff too. I think that's kind of cool. It looks exactly like this in the movie too. And that's a pretty cool accessory to have, you know. Got another tombstone. Now what I do is like talk about the alternate heads that Jason has. He has like a total of 4 heads, you know, in total. So I think that's kind of cool. And that the way they design them are kind of interesting too. The way NECA has designed them. The first alternate head that Jason has is this head right here, and this is the one that was actually on the figure, you know, when I opened it. So this is the one that he actually comes displayed with. As you can see, he even has like the worms in his badge, you know. That's awesome, you know, cause when they open the grave, you see like the worms like pouring out his eyes, like while he's in his coffin. That's a cool little touch. You can see even some of like the wounds, like there's like the I guess like the machete wound from when Tommy slammed the machete in his head on the side. Even a little bit of the axe wound too from 3 right at the top. Of course, you can see it on the mask too, the battle damage. I like how the mask looks like, you know, like dirty and stuff too as well. And here's the other mask, which is cool. Now, Jason doesn't wear this in the movie at all. Even Roy Burns doesn't wear this particular mask. But what it was, this was the actual mask that was on the poster when this came to video. I remember when I even rented it like on video, back when it was originally released, you know. Yeah, this was the mask that was on the cover of the poster, you know. But I don't think this was the one when it was like in theaters. I think it was one with Tommy Jarvis on it, if I'm not mistaken. But this is the one I am very familiar with myself, you know, this particular mask. It has like glowing eyes and stuff. Well, this doesn't glow, but I know on the poster it did, you know. You can still see the wounds that Jason has on it, like the axe wounds and stuff, ears and stuff. I just think that's a nice little touch for NECA to do, you know. As you can see, this is Jason with it on. You can turn his head. Now, one of the things interesting about it, you cannot take these masks off. They're actually attached to the head, so you actually have to take the whole head off to actually switch out the head, you know. So I think that's kind of interesting. And here's the mask that has like blood pouring out, like his axe wound from when he was sitting here in the axe. Now this is the one, believe it or not, that I like the most of the set of heads, you know. And I do remember this part from the movie too. There was like another like sequence where Tommy's like I think, hallucinating or something, and Jason was standing right in front of him. And then you could even see when the blood poured out from his head, it actually pours down, I think, if I can remember correctly. But this is the one I really actually like the most of the heads. This is probably the one I'd be displaying mine with, you know. I think that's so awesome, you know. Simple as it is, just looks so cool to me, you know. And there he is with it on. You can still like turn it and stuff. Yeah, I actually like this mask a lot. I think it's awesome. And this right here is like the final mask that Jason has, as you can see with the final head. It looks like it's just dirty, and this was how I looked at it in the movie too, you know. It was like real dirty and stuff, you know, from the mud, from him being in the grave and stuff. And this is actually after the worms had poured out too as well. I think this is a cool looking mask, you know. As you can see, there's Jason with a fit on too. So yeah, Jason has a total of like 4 heads. So I actually consider like 3 interchangeable heads, but like 4 together if you include the one that's actually on him, you know. Because this is the one I probably display him with, because I just like that blood drop on his eye. I think that was just so cool. I remember that in the movie too when it was pouring out, you know. I thought that was a cool scene. And these are the 3 extra heads that he has too. And I think it's cool that NECA did include this one, you know, even though it wasn't one in the movie. It was the actual one that was on the poster for the video release when it came to home video. And here's the axe, you know, from in the movie too as well. And it's like very bloody. I mean, it has like a lot of blood on it. They really went overboard, overboard with this particular one, you know. And there's like the woods, like wooded and stuff. So I'm sure this is part of the slide right on in Jason's hand. Yeah, it does, yeah. So there's Jason with his axe in his hand. Went in pretty good too. I didn't have to really force it or nothing. That's how I could tell that the articulation on this particular figure. A lot of the Jason figures are pretty good, you know. You can actually get stuff on them and stuff. Of course, here's Jason's trademark weapon, the machete, you know. Now, this doesn't have any blood on it at all, you know. And I like how it looks like realistic too, like the shine of it. It really looks like it's like, you know, the like metal, you know, like the material. I think that's cool. So let me see if I can get this in his hand. And for sure I can. Easy too. I had no trouble with that either, you know. So as you can see, there's Jason with the machete in his hand. So yeah, the machete does go in Jason's hand pretty good, as you can see. Now the last accessory that this figure has is this actual split hand right here, as you can see. You don't really see it in the film if I'm not mistaken, but it does make sense for him to have this, since this happened at the end of Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This is actually around when Jason was killed, you know, and he had this machete slammed in his hand by Trish from the final chapter, you know. So it kind of makes sense for them to give him this hand, you know. So let's see if I can just put it on. Yeah, it did pop off pretty easily. And as you can see, there's the battle damage hand of Jason from when the machete was slammed in his hand on the final chapter. So now what I do is I touch on the articulation of this Jason figure. Now one thing I'm going to touch on is this is one of the reasons why I wasn't too thrilled about getting it, because when you look at it, this particular Jason really is just like another version of the, which makes sense, of the final chapter of the NECA Ultimate Part 4 Jason. They are very similar, because this is the Part 4 that I have right here, Ultimate Jason, you know. They are very similar in appearance, you know, which would make sense because this is Jason in the grave after he was killed on the final chapter. So of course he would look exactly like he did this way, you know, before he began to decompose and stuff. Before he got like he did, I guess you could say, well, in Part 6 he was still kind of like this too, you know. But yeah, these are the they're very similar, you know, these figures. But the only thing about it, this one has like a darker, like slick look, like it was like in the rain and so on, you know. But it did a good job on it, you know, like the detail in it, you know. Like I said, this is probably the mask I display with. I like that one. I think that's an awesome mask. The clothes look very good. These are the ones that Jason had on, you know. It does like it's wet and stuff, like it been rained on and stuff. I like how his shoes look like, you know, kind of like dirty and stuff. Now the articulation, as you can see, you can raise his arms up. You can split his legs. You also can bend like his knees. As you can see, Jason can bend. Hands can be turned. This one can be removed. This one can be turned. I think this one can come off too. I don't really bottom though. Feet can turn. Of course, the head has good articulation. You can look up, you can look down, you know, left, right, you know. As you can see, these are all my NECA Ultimate Jason figures, you know. I'm very, you know, pleased with these figures. They really do look like how the character looks like in each one of these films, like Part 2, Part 3, you know, Final Chapter, you know, the new beginning in Part 6, you know, and so on, you know. And I'm definitely anticipating like the other upcoming Jason figures too. I also have like a quarter scale Jason Voorhees figure too, you know. Alright. Okay, that was me talking about my NECA Friday the 13th Ultimate Part 5 Dream Sequence Jason. And I would definitely recommend, I guess, you know, well, I ain't gonna say definitely, you know, because it is very similar to like the final chapter version of this figure. You can tell that NECA used like the same body mold, but I think it's still kind of cool that NECA went and did this, you know, for like the fans and so on. So I would definitely recommend, you know, being that this Jason was only really shown like in like dream sequences or whenever Tommy Jarvis was actually hallucinating and so on, you know. But it was kind of cool they did just gave this figure a shot. Especially one of the reasons why I think is too because there's masks, you know, that they have, which is on the poster of the video release when it came to home video. So I think that's kind of cool little touch, you know. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this, you know. I guess for like those reasons alone, but other than that, if you're not like a big, huge fan of Jason, you know, and you already have like the final chapter version, I probably really recommend borrowing this unless you're just trying to get all the Jason Voorhees figures, or unless you're a big fan, you know. And that's my NECA Friday the 13th Ultimate Part 5 Dream Sequence Jason. Please leave a comment and subscribe too as well.